So on March 8th, 2014, right? MH Flight 370 disappeared. It was a Malaysian flight on its way to China, and it disappeared off radar on March 8th. Now I remember seeing it on the news, and I always felt that something. I always felt something happened to that plane. You know, planes don't just disappear without there being an incident. And as time went on, the news kind of faded about that. On to the next, and so there's this YouTube channel I follow called Redacted. Uh, I don't agree, and I meant to do a video a while back. Um, I meant to do a video a while back about one of the videos they did on McCarthy that which they're completely wrong on, because McCarthy was a SOB. You know what I'm saying? He was, there were no communists. Lucio Ball was not a communist. There was no communist scare. You know. And if people believe in communism, that's their freedom. In this country, we have a right to believe in communism. But I agree with a lot of other things. I especially agree with the main host, the guy who runs it. I forgot his name right now. So I always watch his videos from time to time. Um, and he does some good interviews. He gets some good people from time to time on his show. And he had a guy named Ashton Forbes, and Ashton Forbes explained about a video that he got leaked. He wasn't gonna do nothing with it, and then he decided to start a YouTube channel around that time about it. And I remember seeing the video, and I seen the interview twice. I did not subscribe to his YouTube channel yet, Ashton Forbes channel yet. Then I saw he did a second interview with Redacted, and so I seen the second interview, and I decided, you know what, I need to follow this guy because I believe, and this is my opinion, because I know YouTube likes to pick on the little guys. I mean, I'm not little, but on YouTube world, I'm little, but I just want to say, for the record, this is my opinion. It's my opinion. And I've been following his YouTube channel. He does a good job explaining what possibly happened or what most likely happened. And I gotta say most likely about I'm not an expert scientist. I'm not a scientist at all. I'm not an investigator. But I believe that the videos are real. That the two videos coming from two different drones that were following the Malaysian flight, MH370, and it's real. It's basically you gotta use common sense, and I'm saying this carefully, but knowing what the lies have been told about everything else that our government has been involved in, the fact that they barely mention this at all now, there's no explanation, there's still no justice, and they barely mention the Chinese businessmen that were on that flight with scientists, really. And you don't just come out of China and come to the United States on your own free will, because China is a dictatorship. There's no freedom of speech. You can't just come out of there unless you're working for the Chinese government or you skeeted out of there on the low, and now they're tracking you. But then leave the United States, go back to China without the United States tracking you. That just doesn't happen. So these men, I think there's two, and I want to say there's two people that have YouTube channels that are investigating, MH370, I guess. And they don't seem to want to talk about the Chinese scientists that were on that plane. They want to bring up some Russian people that were on that plane, the Moroccans that were on that plane, and it just doesn't. And I'm like, okay, what about the Chinese scientists? I mean, if you're gonna bring up people on the plane, why not bring up the Chinese scientists? And one of them, there's two. I think one. I think the other YouTube channel, one YouTube channel is I forgot the name of it. It's two former aviation pilots or somewhat, and then there's another guy who seems sincere. Um, but that the guy that seems sincere. Now, I don't remember names. I should know the name, right? But it's not important because I don't go back to this channel. It seems to me he's avoiding the elephant in the room. Like, you say that's not important. The Chinese scientists are not important. It is. In this world of Wuhan lab and COVID-19, you have American politicians saying, "Oh, China bad, bad, very bad," and then you have American scientists doing business with China, which doesn't make sense to me. Either we cut off all ties to China, or we have a relationship with China. You can't just say one thing and do another. So there's a lot of confusion with that. I'm not confused. I think politicians lie all the time. We do have a relationship with China, and that's why we don't outright call out China for their human rights violations. These scientists were working for the Chinese government. They were in that plane, and this is something I found out about through Ashton Forbes. But in the beginning, I always felt that something happened to the plane, and then a little while afterwards, I always felt the United States did something to that plane. I definitely believe that the Obama administration knows what happened to MH Flight 370. They know that the head of the Navy, the head of the CIA, the whole administration, Hillary Clinton, they all know. They know. I'm pretty sure they've seen the videos. These are drones. So any drone videos that they're gonna the Navy that and the CIA are gonna show them to Obama and Hillary, and they're gonna say this is what happened, this is what needed to be done, and the videos are crazy because when you look at the videos, the plane, there's just a flash and one drone that's seems to be flying over MH370. Um, I guess Ashton Forbes calls it. I think Google stares. It looks like it's daytime. That it catches the sky and the clouds as the actual color, like it's daytime though. And you see these orbs flying around, and then all of a sudden you see a flash and the plane is gone. It's crazy. Now you can. Some people, rightfully so, can say, "Well, it's fake," and I'm gonna prove it to you, and I'm gonna show you. But the other drone, the infrared drone, that was flying the opposite side of MH370, that's definitely real, and I'm gonna tell you why that's real. I haven't played video games in decades, right? But I've played Nintendo and had Nintendo. I was late on Nintendo, but I got it. Um, in other people's homes, I played Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, and my god brother used to play the new three. I forgot what the name of the. I think it might have been PlayStation, but this was the mid 2000s, and this was the 3D games that they put out for Super Mario. And yeah, the screen moves. It may shake if there's an explosion, but it's not. It's going along with the game. When you look at the infrared video of the drone, you see, first of all, you see the wing of the drone, and then you see the drone zooming in on the plane. So every time it zooms, you see a screen blacked out, and then it's zooming in, the screen blacked out again, then it's getting even closer. and it's shaking like the turbulence. You know, when you ever if you ever been on a plane, you know the plane there's turbulence on the plane, it starts shaking, and that's what the drone is doing. Like you see it kind of shake, even though it's following the plane from far away. It's shaking. So even from that far, the turbulence is strong. You know, and so that's an obvious dead giveaway that, in my opinion, that video was real. And you know, if you disagree with me, that's fine because it's just it's crazy. It's crazy to believe that our government, our military, navy, and CI, they all overlap with each other nowadays. There's no difference nowadays between anything that they will have that kind of technology. But if you read um, science news, science articles, they're kind of saying that yeah, you can make a wormhole, you can make this, we could do that, free energy. So this kind of all ties into what sealed the deal for me was not only the infrared video, but what I saw in my own window in Jersey City, flying over my neighborhood. When I saw that drone flying over my neighborhood, and it had no propellers. It was there was no clear opening. It was just moving, and it was just using the space around it. It looked like it was just using the space around it, and it came from the direction of downtown Manhattan and downtown Jersey City. Downtown Manhattan, of course, is the home of the U.S. government, and it was headed towards downtown Newark, which is also some of the offices of the U.S. government. So that's the giveaway. They would probably test flying that drone, and this was before the drone scandal. So these weren't just regular drones people were flying too close to airspace. This was some other things going on, and the FBI and the CIA never really mentioned it or did a press release about what's going on. So all this adds up, including the real video, the UFO videos I seen. With you have three UFO saucers. I mean, then call them UFOs. Just call them what it is. Free energy space aircraft. Obviously, they're saucer shaped. They look like flying saucers. They are. You know, they're not from outer space though. They're not aliens. We have the capability to build something like that. We had that capability for a long time. And I'm not talking about the fake UFO videos. I'm talking about the real ones. And I've seen a real one. Somebody posted up on IG, and there were helicopters on each side flying by them. They weren't flying fast. So it's pretty clear. Everybody was like, "Holy snap! These are not aliens. These are scientists that have helped the government crack the code on using space and manipulating space and using it to move aircraft." So this is not alien. This is human beings who are smart, who are scientists, who are getting paid a lot of money to crack the code on using space and opening up portals and wormholes. I mean, this is you have people from Area 51, Area 52 coming forward, military people saying they're making wormholes. You see a black dot in the middle of the room, and all of a sudden the energy is being pulled. You know, they're small, but that's what they're doing. They're doing small wormholes and portals. You know, sounds crazy, but this is what our government is doing. They're using a lot of money, and it's Lockheed Martin. It's a few other companies, and so what happened to that plane? It didn't it looked like it gets zapped out of the sky, but it didn't get zapped because these two drones, when you see the plane disappearing, this was around between 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. But then MH370 is seen at 5 o'clock in the morning by somebody in a nearby island. So I mean, it looked like. I mean, the only explanation is what it is. These orbs were able to create such energy and force that it just I guess it created gravity and you just bend the space there, and the plane went through that space and it just popped out the other side. I mean, yeah, that we have the capability to do that now. And if you've been paying attention to the science articles for the last 10 years, the military soldiers that have been coming forward here and there, even though they believe in aliens, they're saying aliens, but they're also saying that they've seen wormholes. Now they haven't really seen aliens, but they've seen the wormholes, small wormholes that these military people and these scientists. I don't know if they're military or scientists. I mean, obviously they got to be both to do something like that. And they're coming forward in podcasts that you read the science articles. It's there. It's out in the open if you've been paying attention. But obviously, a lot of people work two jobs. They're not trying to read anything about science, and they're not trying to go through different podcasts and a military soldier or a military soldier being interviewed. Boring, But knowing what I know, what I've known for a while now, whenever I see a military soldier being interviewed about Area 51 and 52 and 53, and I kind of have to pay attention, even if there's nonsense in the beginning about aliens. You forget about that nonsense about aliens, and then you eventually they start talking about some other stuff that's more realistic. And so yeah, in my opinion, the videos are definitely real. I, you know, and there's not much else to say. I wasn't gonna do a video about it, but I decided to. Um, and it's been a while, and it's crazy. But yeah, we have, and now we have. So now we have our government has cracked the code, and I'm pretty sure China, Russia, and Saudi Arabia, and Israel, they all have this, right? So it means that you know, it, anything can be used for good or bad. By the way, if you think anything that a human being can think, a human being can make. So, people, the old cartoons, you see lasers being shot and all that. Well, whoever wrote the cartoon back in the 80s and 70s and even 60s, they probably had the idea, well, this is possible. Well, if it's possible, then it could be done. And now you're reading news articles about lasers. Like, the military is literally making weapons that fire lasers. Okay? Lasers, i.e., plasma, most likely. They're trying to use plasma as a weapon of war. So, um, they basically anything that can be used for good can be used for bad. And so I believe um, that they've not only cracked the code on manipulating space and using plasma for their own advantage, but they're using it as a weapon of war, which means that it's not good. It's not good. And the fact that I believe Israel, Saudi Arabia, Iran, maybe, uh, China, Russia probably have this technology or working on it or close to it. It means that we're in a dark place right now. And I say, and I know a lot of people, a lot of crazy people voted for Trump, and they fight for Trump. And I'm as a progressive, I'm a progressive. As a progressive, I'm against the two-party system. So I don't support either parties. I don't support um any of them, and including Trump. Trump is not a politician. He's an elite, a ruling class elite. He comes from the real estate swamp. His father was from there. His father stole money that was supposed to go to the poor people's campaign, poor people's whatever they call it. That they were trying to do back in the late '60s, the civil rights movement. Fred Trump was taking that money supposedly, but he was under investigation for other things. And we know with Trump and with his father too, we know that in order to get involved in construction and real estate, you had to do business with the mafia, the five families of New York City. There's no question that most likely they did business. And I will also say the proof in that is probably Larry Silverstein. Okay, now because the Freedom Tower was built by a company that was controlled by one of the Gambinos. I'm gonna do a separate video on that. I realize that I should do a separate video. So so Trump is not a good person, and I'm pretty sure he's gonna say, well, they were nice people, they were good to me, so they didn't bother me. I mean, yeah, they're too busy killing each other. But I'm pretty sure if Trump double crossed them, it will be a problem. But so that's why Trump acts like a mobster. He's from New York City. I'm from New York City. I used to live. Me and my mom's when I was young, when I was a kid, we used to live next to the mafia, so I know how it works. I know they controlled everything. They control construction. They control newsstands, demolition companies, all almost all facets of society in New York City. I don't know about the rest of the country. At one time, the rest of the country probably the same, but the five families were able to stay strong here in New York City. The rest around the country, not really. But so not a good person. Trump wants to start war. He wants to control the world. He wants the U.S. government, to control the world and maybe even the universe. I think because when you have scientists that are bragging and are saying being paid to figure out how to manipulate space and use plasma and make wormholes, and you're working for Lockheed, then what's the end game of that? The end game is to use it as a weapon of war to control the world, to control Earth, and then eventually to control the universe, and may I dare say, maybe even control the afterlife. Because to me, a portal is different than a wormhole. A portal is your, a wormhole. Basically, you're bending the space, and yet there has to be an entrance point and an exit point. Disappear somebody or a plane or anything. You disappear a hat. There has to be an exit point where the hat comes back out, because all you're doing is bending it until it breaks. I guess if you can break it. But I think with a portal, you can probably, I don't know how, I'm not a scientist, but a portal, basically you're not bending the space, you're poking a hole in space. And there has to be something different to do that. And that's just my opinion. I'm not a scientist. So a portal to me is a different dimension. And I believe in life after death. I believe when you die, you enter the afterlife, you enter a different dimension. Your energy is still there. They're trying to get. It sounds like they're trying to control that. I mean, when you're controlling everything on Earth, or the energy, everything from space, maybe even time, to plasma. I mean, all the elements that control the Earth, all the elements that protect the Earth from the sun. You're talking about magnetic fields. I mean, all the chemicals in the planet, and yeah, and you're basically you're going to control everything that makes up life. Everything that creates energy, and then the energy itself. And I mean, these are mad scientists, evil scientists, and people like Donald Trump who know about it, who's going along with it, just as evil. Just like the Obama administration saw that plane disappear, they're evil. And where they're headed into, I mean, they're insane. They're insane. These are dark men doing dark things to have power, and they're trying to go that far. It sounds crazy. It sounds cartoonish, but this is what they're trying to do, and they've been doing it for a long time. And they're using aliens. They're making people not believe in it by saying, "Oh, we believe in there's aliens too." It's no aliens. There's no alien bodies. That's a lie. There's no alien bodies. It's they they're diverting attention because they know aliens can divert attention away from something that doesn't sound too sexy and sounds bizarre at the same time, which is controlling the universe. Even maybe controlling the sun. I mean, these people, I wouldn't put it over on them that they would want to control the sun. The good thing about all of this, if there is any, is I don't think it's gonna get that far because Mother Nature speaks for itself. The planet Earth speaks for itself. The sun speaks for itself. And the Earth is kind of flipping, which means the magnetic field is getting weaker. Not that I want to see life die off the way it had in the past. And then of course there's just human nature in general, where if there's a war, we're gonna kill so many people that even scientists are gonna be killed. Buildings will get bombed. I mean, it just I don't think it's gonna get that far, but it might. There's always if I'm thinking that it could get that far, then it could probably get that far. But we the people have to be aware of it, and we have to find a way to change that and stop it. How, I don't know at this point. I barely have money to live on my own right now, you know. But no, it's a crazy world. All the money that they have, and they could just make things better for us, and instead they're doing it to control more people, control animals, control life, control the planet, control the universe. That's their end game. That's the end game. There's no other reason why they're doing that. There's no other reason. And I'm going to continue to follow everything that's going on, try to make up my own opinions, and then, you know, and also I'm just saying this because I need to say it, or else I'm going to scream. And, I said a long time ago I do these videos just to express myself, but it's also good to share where what you believe in and the knowledge that you have to other people that may not know. But I think a lot of people outside mainstream media probably know. And I don't know if they know to the extent that I know, or that some other YouTube call somebody like Ashton Forbes know. But I would say I know more because I could definitely tell you there's a lot of questions about 9/11. There's a lot of questions about NORAD. There's a lot of questions, and there's a lot. The official versions were wrong, and the official versions of the JFK assassination and MLK assassinations are wrong. I don't think Ashton Forbes believed that there was a conspiracy to murder them, or he probably doesn't know, but I do. So I would say maybe I may, and I'm not tuning my own horn. Ashton Forbes is brilliant. He's knowledgeable. He's more articulate than me. But I would say I probably know more about covert operations than other guys in their 40s or 30s, because he's close to my age, no. And so it's a scary place. But believe it or not, I'm still an optimistic person. As long as I have enough money to help my mom's out, I can't help but pay the rent. But as long as I have enough to get by, and for my mother to get by, then we good. And I'm the Mr. Person, I'm trying to see what my next steps are financially, but um, it's important to know what's going on in the world as well. Um, so I'll see you. You know what I'm saying? Peace to the world. Literally, when I say peace, I really mean that literally. Peace to humanity, peace to all life on the planet, and peace to the universe. And I believe that the universe was designed intelligently. I believe there's a bigger power. In my opinion, I believe in a higher power. And so, peace to the universe, and all praise to the sun for giving us life. And I'll see you on the next time. Peace.